Let's talk about Halloween. Okay, Halloween draws from both Celtic and Christian traditions, which has got nothing to do with the Bible or the Most High or anything. It's pagan and Catholic, pagan, Christian type of belief. The Celtic people used to celebrate something called Samhain, and it was like at the end of the harvest season to welcome the winter. So the winter also always associated with like death and, birth of, celebration of death and things like that. That's why winter's always cold and it's gloomy and it's like, darkness starts arriving. There's more nighttime than there is light on that day. So, it was a celebration called Samhain. And in these Celtic type of celebration, they would celebrate the dead, they would celebrate their ancestors, and they, believed that, the night, it was like a night where, the souls of the dead departed and returned to them, to their former homes and things like that. And also there was the Druids of the Celtics. The Druids were like the priest. They were like the priests of they were called like priestly Druids. And what the Druids would do, they were like secret bloodthirsty priests of society who ruled by terror, and they did a lot of sorcery, a lot of witchcraft and things like that. And even like the Celtic kings back in the days would fear their black powers, and they worshipped on October the 31st, they worshipped the Dark Lord. So that's what they were doing, and with that they basically were doing like animal and human sacrifices and to the Dark Lord, and they will like, rip out hearts of their victims and use their blood for like religious rituals and things like that, and use their entrails and things like that to, divine the future or forecast the new year. So that's when New Year all ties into it. Even Christmas all ties into it because that's pagan and things like that. And then the remains of the people that they killed and things like that, they will burn their bones in fire, hence where you get bonfire. And as you can see, bonfire is so closely after like Halloween, so that's where bonfire comes in. So it was bone fires, basically burning their bones, but later on became bonfires and things like that. So, but like, yeah, so and the Celtics, who's all part of that and things like that, they will they believed that there was like October the 31st, they believed like the veil between the two worlds were thin, and that the spirits can come closer in contact with the human world, and they will like entertain like they thought they were ancestors or these spirits to tell them about the future, what's going to happen and things like that. And also like they will like give them food and things like that, because sometimes these spirits and things, they will like come, they be aggressive and stuff like that. So they would have to pay tribute for them, and the tribute was giving them food or giving them some sort of sacrifice or whatever it was, whatever their tribute was. And that was when the demons would be like, okay, if they didn't give them tribute, then they would do something bad, hence the trick or treat. So when these demons would knock on a door, these spirits would knock on a door after the veil was very thin between worlds, and they can come in, and these people had to either, you know, cater to these spirits and things like that, make tribute, make peace with them so they don't interfere with, you know, their loved ones or their children. And yeah, and that's where they would give them that. That's where the whole trick and treat and the candy thing and all that stuff, you know, came into things like that. So they will like provide like these demonic spirits, like, you know, proper food, shelter, provisions and things like that. And, you know, they will, these evil spirits will cast like spells and wreak havoc on man and beast and things like that, and torment the living. And, you know, and these people, I don't know why they celebrate it, but this was, they had to appease them. They had to appease them on that day. Like, you know, they had to appease them for these people, these spirits will do these things and stuff. And now with the Christians now in Christianity, that it was called All Saints Days or All Souls Days, where apparently, which derived from Catholics, where, so let's go to the word hallow. So, you know, the word Halloween traces back to medieval Christianity, and the word hallow derives from like an old English word for holy as a noun. It can also mean saint in those days. So the Christian holiday was called All Saints Day, and all called All Hallows Day. And the day before, when an evening mass was held, was All Hallows Eve. And that's where it's shortened. It was called Halloween. So it comes from that. And that was when they will celebrate the dead saints, where they will pray for the dead. They will, well, they're saying they're praying for the dead saints or praying for like really important Christians that died. And later on, some of them started dressing up as either angels or some kind of saint figure or even a devil. And yeah, so that's how Christianity was worshipping it too. And yeah, and this is some of the history of where Hallows Eve, All Saints Day, or All Souls Day, or that Celtic pagan day, what the Druids were doing. It's just all together. It's all just worshipping this dark night where you're either worshipping your ancestors, you're either worshipping some dead saints or praying to the saints, talking to the dead, or sacrificing people to the dead, or sacrificing your children, or entertaining, you know, demons, fallen angels, whatever it is. And we know what the scripture says about basically, you know, doing these type of things. Like if you go to like Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 10 to 11, it says, "There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead." So there you go, really. This type of thing is not right. I know later on it started changing, more things were added in, more different kind of cultures that did celebrate that day in their own way, but it was altogether it's celebrating, you know, evil spirits, where however they were doing it, they're all kind of connected. It's all dark, it's all ungodly, obviously, and it's something that if you're a believer, you should not be doing. No one should be doing that. I mean, at the end of the day, you're dressing up as demons and monsters and all sorts of things, the very things that we say, you know, are scary, and we shouldn't get, you know, we shouldn't be entertaining having these thoughts in our heads, and then we're making our children dress up as demons. I mean, that's just another thing which is just, I don't know. Also, if you go to Isaiah chapter 8, verse 19 to I think 20, it says, when someone tells you to consult mediums and spiritualists who whisper and mutter, should not a people inquire of their God? Why consult the dead on behalf of the living? Consult God's instructions and the testimony of warning. If anyone does not speak according to this word, they have no light of dawn. So even with the Christians and whatever they were doing, or the Catholics were trying to do All Saints Day and all of that, no. It's the Bible's clear in that we should not be doing or entertaining any of that type of stuff. And for people who's making their children do it, don't sacrifice your children to demons, because at the end of the day, the veil is very thin. The two worlds collide together. Demons or evil spirits, whatever you want to call them, are walking amongst people. So you're all dressing up as some kind of, evil spirit, devil, monster, whatever it is. You don't know that an evil spirit could be right beside you walking around and you think they're just in a costume. And they're not. They can walk freely amongst everybody, causing havoc, and you just think it's someone in a costume. Oh, you must have took you ages to make that costume. Don't know you're entertaining evil spirits, and you're making your children entertain evil spirits. You're feeding the energy of fear, feeding the energy of, just unclean spirits in the air. And we tell our kids not to watch scary movies, but then on this one particular, one day of the year, we make them dress up in the very thing that we try to not make them be entertained in TV or in books or whatever. Even nowadays, I don't know, it looks like, monsters and all those type of things in children's programs nowadays in their books. But still, kids are scared of the monsters underneath their bed or in a closet, and children are scared of monsters. But then on that day, we encourage them to embrace these creatures, to embrace these beings, these unclean spirits on that very day. And then it's confusing the children. It's not, it makes them stronger seeing it. No, you're feeding off the energy to these beings, hence why the veil is very thin, because you're given worship to this very day where they like to come out and play and do their trick-or-treat and all sorts of madness. But spiritual activity is on a high now, and it's getting a lot more worse. Forget about even October the 31st, like every day the veil is getting thin, but on that day particularly it's even worse. So each year, with the veil getting thin in general, on the 31st of October, it's just getting a lot more worse. So many spiritual activities, so much people have put them on, catch them on recording, CCTV cameras and things like that. And then you want to still go out there and celebrate, some evil day with your children. Like, come on now. We're in the last days when the end times wake up.
Why do you think a lot of these anime and manga, they talk about different worlds? The world of the man and the world of the beast, the world of the man and the world of the demons. And they don't talk about demons like the way we speak about demons. They speak about they're another race of beings. Another movie. That literally is telling you this. It's telling you this. But now they're saying it's a celebration called Halloween. Hellboy 2. Listen to the beginning. When the Elfin Prince. Listen to when he's talking to his father, talking to his sister and talking to his father. Said that mankind has thrown away the pact we had with them, that we live alongside each other. Now we're living under them, when we should be living on the surface. They've drove us that, you see? But people won't think that's connected to Halloween. They just think, it's just demons come and cause havoc and then they go. No. Some particular civilization, some particular sets of people, tribes, and so on, literally, were either taught by these beings and become subject to them, or they made deals with these beings and live alongside of them. So Halloween is much, much more than, oh, it's just a celebration. And when you see this, it means that. You explain to them, they're trying to bring back their lifestyle. It isn't just a celebration. That's what they're trying to constantly remind people, that these beings used to live alongside us before. They're trying to tell you that there's a time period that man lived alongside these guys. It wasn't just before the flood. Now think of something on a supernatural level. You're going into the woods hunting to get some sort of veal or bushmeat, where you come across a centaur. He's not supposed to be there. Even you can feel in your spirit, he's not supposed to be here. It's a disorder. That's what Halloween's about, disorder. But then these beings of disorder are trying to get some sort of ransom from you. They're trying to get you to become subject to them. But that's the worst thing that can happen. Is that you trying to feed cancer on his worst condition? He's going to kill you. When people start saying, you know what? So then they can have a proper reason why not worshipping it or going down that road and celebrating it. Because all the creatures there are creatures of disorder. Witch, werewolf, vampire, ghost, and the creatures that they use. Like what I mentioned about you leaving a house totally open. Is the same way and same kind of teaching they teach people to do in all of this esoteric and occultic teachings. Leave yourself wide open. Why? Just like the way if somebody ever left their doors and windows of their house or their abode open and leave it for a while, what's going to happen? All creatures, creepy crawlies, and all these untamed animals will come in. Same thing with these spiritual entities. They'll come into your world, come into your life, and they won't leave. They'll make things worse.